Today we are going to talk about a biography drama film called The Founder from 2016. The movie begins in 1954. The protagonist, named Ray Kroc, tries to sell a diner owner a mixer for making 5 milkshakes at the same time. When he gets a refusal, he puts the device in the trunk of his car, where he is waiting for the lunch he ordered earlier. The cafe staff can't cope with the flow of orders. He is also refused at the next outlet. In the evening, he talks to his wife on the phone from his hotel room, and then listens to an audiobook from a training session that tells him that a successful businessman must be persistent. After another setback, he calls his secretary June Martino, who tells him that some cafe owners from California have ordered 6 mixers at once. Surprised by the volume, Ray calls the number left to clarify whether the owner had made a mistake. Dick McDonald admits that he was mistaken. He needed 8 mixers, not 6. Curious about his unexpected success, Ray looks at a map to find directions to California. He sets out on the road to personally see the person who agreed to buy such a batch of product. Arriving at the place, he notices a huge line outside the diner, but the woman in front of him assures him that the service is very fast. When his turn comes, he places an order and receives his portion almost immediately. Ray is forced to eat at such diners because of his job, and he is very surprised by the speed of service, as well as the lack of utensils, because the hamburgers are wrapped in disposable paper packaging. He sits down to eat on a bench nearby, and notices a man cleaning up the trash left by customers. It turns out to be Mac McDonald, the co-owner of the diner. Ray introduces himself and expresses his admiration for the smooth operation, after which he is given a tour of the kitchen. Inside, Mac shows the process of cooking hamburgers. Several portions are prepared at once, and cooking is continuous and fast, so customers do not have to wait long. Ray also meets Mac's brother, whose name is Dick. He's very busy overseeing quality control, so he doesn't have time to socialize with the guest. Ray invites the brothers to dinner to hear their story. In the evening, they tell him that they had been on the road to success for a long time, but their initial plans did not bring the expected profit. After working as drivers, they saved up for a movie theater, but it soon closed due to the onset of the Great Depression. Drawing conclusions from the success of the hot dog eatery, the brothers decided to open their own eatery because people always want to eat, even during an economic crisis. They opened their first cafe in Arcadia, and then moved to San Bernardino. To do this, they even had to dismantle the building to drive under a bridge. At the new location, everything went well after the opening, but soon sales dropped due to teenagers and waitresses who were distracted by flirting for tips, which significantly reduced the speed of work. Having calculated that the main sales came from 3 items, hamburgers, drinks, and fries, the brothers reduced the range of dishes, as well as removed cigarette vending machines and switched to paper bags. But that wasn't enough. The McDonald's wanted to reduce the waiting time for orders and increase the flow of visitors. To plan the kitchen, they draw plans on the tennis court while employees simulate the work. This way, Dick experimentally discovered the optimal layout. The revolutionary idea almost failed when visitors were waiting for their waitresses on the opening day. Mac had to personally call them to the order window. Many refused the innovative approach and left. In the evening, it started to hail and scattered all the visitors. The brothers, resigned to failure, were already thinking of returning to the old format, but a little boy knocked on the window. Mac made him a free burger as his last customer, but soon more customers arrived. They told their friends about the diner, and soon there were lines in front of the First McDonald's. At night, Ray lay in bed, unable to sleep. In the morning, he meets the brothers and suggests that they expand by opening a franchise. The man makes an inspiring speech, which is shattered by a powerful argument. The brothers have already tried it. They opened several outlets in other cities, but it was difficult to monitor the quality of the products and the work of the employees there. Mac was even hospitalized due to stress. Ray also notices a photo of a concept for a diner building, which was used to build a location in Phoenix. The man goes there to see it with his own eyes. The closed establishment, glowing golden at night, fascinates him. He stands in front of it, admires it, and then returns home. Ray tells his wife about his brothers and their ideas, but she advises him not to invest in a new business. The man returns to his old job, observing small towns across the country while traveling. However, after another rejection, he decides to try again. He convinces his brothers that a McDonald's franchise can become a kind of symbol of America, like a church and a flag, to unite the nation around food and promote family values. Mac convinces Dick to agree, and soon they sign a contract with Ray. While the brothers work at their place, he will promote the franchise across the country. A man goes to banks to get money, but the bankers recognize him from his previous visits and refuse him. He has to mortgage his house to get the money and start building the first McDonald's. However, the brothers slow down the process a bit because Ray wants to build the cafe on the foundation, and any changes must be agreed with Dick. They also close the idea of advertising cooperation with Coca-Cola, which upsets Ray. Despite all the troubles, the first McDonald's opens in Des Plaines soon. Ray personally supervises the work of employees to meet high standards. He also pays attention to a talented chef named Fred Turner. In the evenings, Ray, like Mac, personally cleans the area around the cafe. Later, the hero tells his friends about his idea while playing golf. He persuades them to invest in the franchise and open their own outlets. However, when he visits them personally, he sees that there is no quality control. The menu contains different dishes, the territory is dirty, unsanitary, and the quality of the food is disgusting. In anger, he complains to his business partners, but they are deeply indifferent to his concerns. This failure forces Ray to reconsider his development strategy. Ray notices the man and offers him to invest in the next outlet. The man accepts the hero's offer and opens a cafe with his wife, who gives out lollipops to children during the opening. This inspires Ray's wife, who is not very supportive of his endeavor. Additionally, the fast food chain is positioned as a family cafe, which adds to the charm. Ray and his wife visit the diner, where he talks to the middle class, especially couples. He persuades them to participate in the McDonald's franchise. This policy pays off. Ray travels the country, finding new managers who open their cafes and pay him and his brothers a percentage of the profits. At this time, the brothers find out that Ray is calling the Des Plaines location the First McDonald's restaurant, which they don't like. At the opening of the next outlet, he is greeted by an enthusiastic crowd. Later, at a dinner with investors, he meets the owner of the restaurant, who also wants to invest in the fast food chain. The entrepreneur's attention is drawn to the wife of his new colleague, Joan. He even plays a song with her on the piano. When he returns home, he boasts to his wife that investors are now looking for meetings with him. However, he soon discovers a financial problem. The money provided for him under his contract is not enough to keep him working. Ray calls Dick to improve the terms, but the brothers refuse. Additionally, because of the loan delinquency, the bank wants to take away his house, and his wife finds out about it. After a fight with the bankers, Joan comes to Ray's house. Later, the three of them meet for dinner. The woman suggests switching to powdered extract for milkshakes, which will save on ice cream and energy for the refrigerators where it is stored. Joan treats Ray to a diluted milkshake, and he agrees that it's a great idea. His interest in a woman who shares his ideals grows. However, Dick refuses to switch to a powdered cocktail on principle. Ray asks the banker for another loan, but is refused. But Harry Sonneborn, a financial consultant, hears his speech. He offers the businessman his help. After studying the contract, Harry suggests buying up the real estate on which the McDonald's stands. By renting them out, Ray will be able to make a profit regardless of the brothers' decisions. For this purpose, he organizes a new corporation, which Dick does not like very much. Nevertheless, the hero stands his ground. Formally, he does not violate the terms of the current contract. In addition, the restaurant chain is growing, he is being interviewed, and his photo is gracing the covers of magazines. But he soon decides to disobey Dick and transfer all the dots to powdered extract to save money. He personally brings the first batch to Joan. Later that night, they discuss expansion prospects over the phone, while Ray's wife pretends to sleep in an empty bed. Dick finds out that the businessman has given the go-ahead for powdered cocktails and expresses his disagreement. He threatens to take legal action, but Ray refuses to comply. His current financial situation allows him to ruin his opponents. Later, at dinner with his wife, the hero admits that he wants a divorce. However, during the division of property, he refuses to give her at least one share of the company. Later, he sends Dick a new powdered extract with a letter bearing the McDonald's logo. The brothers argue with him on the phone, and Mac faints from stress. Later, Ray visits him in the hospital and offers him a blank check as payment for their share of the business. They can write down any amount they want. After thinking about it for a while, the brothers agree, because it is not profitable for them to compete with a huge company. But the terms include not only a lump sum payment, but also the right to keep their cafe, as well as perpetual payments of 1% of the profits. At first, Ray is reluctant, but the lawyers convince him to give in. At the same time, he insists that the agreement on interest payments on profits be concluded verbally and sealed with a handshake. This is done so that bankers do not pay attention to an additional, rather problematic clause when issuing loans. On reflection, the brothers agree to meet the entrepreneur who has already deceived them once. Later, in the restroom, Ray confesses to Dick that all success is built not only on their kitchen innovations, but also on the very name McDonald's, which sounds very American. Lawyers take away the brothers' rights to use the name in the cafe's name, and the sign is partially dismantled. At the same time, a full-fledged official McDonald's is being built right across the street, the 100th in a row. Ray cuts the red ribbon, and then looks nostalgically and smugly at the building where it all began. The action moves to 1970. Ray Kroc is rehearsing a speech in front of a mirror in his mansion for a meeting with California Senator Ronald Reagan, the future president of the country. He is watched by Joan, his current wife. The finale includes an archival recording of an interview with the real Ray Kroc, who talks about how he realized that McDonald's is an American word. Dick and Mac's business could not compete with the restaurant with their name on it that opened across the street and went under in a few years. They never received the promised payments from the profits, as there was no evidence of such a deal. Today, 1% of the McDonald's fast food chain's profits is more than $100 million a year.
If you have watched the video so far, you should know that I am happy to have viewers like you. Thank you for watching to the end. Subscribe to the channel and follow the news. Klontsak Recapped was with you. See you soon.